I was eating breakfast when my dad said we had maybe 30 seconds to leave before the spoon was halfway to my mouth when Dad appeared in the doorway. His face was white, phone still pressed to his ear. Mom's coffee cup hit the floor and shattered. 30 seconds, he said. Maybe less. We go now. I stared at the cereal milk dripping back into my bowl. This wasn't real. We lived in suburban Connecticut. Dad did accounting. Mom taught third grade. We were boring. Safe. Normal. Dad grabbed my shoulder hard enough to hurt. Liam, move. Right now. Don't pack. Don't think. Move. His hand was shaking. I'd never seen my dad shake. Not when Grandma died. Not when he lost his job. Not ever. Mom was already running toward the garage, sobbing. Actually sobbing. Dad screamed at me. The raw terror in his voice finally broke through. I ran. Dad fumbled the car keys, dropped them, picked them up, dropped them again. His hands wouldn't work right. Mom was hyperventilating in the passenger seat. I dove into the back. The garage door was opening too slowly. Dad started backing out anyway. Metal scraped against metal as we hit the door. Then we were in the driveway. That's when I saw them. 2 black SUVs blocking both ends of our street. Men getting out, dark clothes, moving fast, professional. One reached for his hip. Dad floored it. The car jerked forward. He cranked the wheel hard right, and we jumped the curb into the Hendersons' yard. Mrs. Henderson was watering roses. She screamed. We destroyed her flower bed. Shouting erupted behind us. Foreign language. Not Spanish. Something Eastern European. Dad aimed for the gap between houses. We hit a fence at full speed. Wood exploded around us. The car went airborne down the embankment. My stomach lurched. We hit bottom so hard my teeth clicked together. The seatbelt cut into my chest. Dad kept driving, following the drainage ditch. Branches scraped the windows. Rocks hammered the undercarriage. I looked back. 2 men stood at the top of the hill. One raised his arm. I saw the gun. The back window exploded. Glass everywhere, sharp pieces in my hair, on my clothes. Mom twisted around, reaching for me. Are you hit? Liam, are you hit? I didn't know. I couldn't tell. Everything was shaking. My hands, my legs, my voice. Dad hit the access road. Tires squealed. We merged into traffic on the main road. He finally slowed to normal speed. My ears were ringing from the gunshot. Mom was crying. Dad's knuckles were bone white on the steering wheel. Nobody spoke. After a full minute, I managed to get words out. What the fuck just happened? My voice cracked. Dad pulled into a grocery store parking lot, parked between 2 minivans, turned around to face me. He was crying. My dad never cried. Ever. Through everything. Job losses, deaths, arguments, nothing. But now tears ran down his face. I'm sorry, Liam. I never thought they'd find us. I thought we had more time. Find us? Who were those men? Why did they have guns? Why? Did they shoot at us? Mom had her face buried in her hands. Her shoulders shook. Dad wiped his eyes with the back of his hand. My name isn't Robert Chen. The words hung in the air. It's Dmitry Sokolov. I'm not an accountant. I was a federal witness. We've been in protective custody for 14 years. The cereal I'd been eating wanted to come back up. I swallowed hard, stared at him. This man I'd known my entire life. You're lying. But even as I said it, I knew he wasn't. Everything suddenly made sense. Why we never visited relatives. Why we had no old photos. Why Dad never talked about his childhood. Why we moved 3 times before I turned 5. Why Mom seemed jumpy around police. Why they checked every lock twice before bed. Why we had that weird emergency plan they'd made me memorize when I was 7. Your real name is Liam Sokolov, Dad said. You were born in Brighton Beach, Brooklyn. Your mother's real name is Katya. We were in the witness protection program until about 15 minutes ago. Were. Past tense. Mom finally looked up. Her mascara had run black streaks down her face. They found us. After all this time, they actually found us. She started laughing. Not happy laughter. The kind that comes right before you break completely. Dad reached over and grabbed her hand. We're alive. We got out. That's what matters. I had about 1,000 questions. They all tried to come out at once and got stuck in my throat. Finally, I managed one. Who were those men? Dad's jaw clenched. Russian mob? Bratva? I testified against them 14 years ago. Put away some very powerful people. They've been looking for me ever since. Russian mob. The word sounded like something from a movie. Not real life. Not my life. You testified? Against the Russian mafia? You? I gestured at him. At his khakis and polo shirt, his receding hairline, his reading glasses hanging from his collar. He looked like every other suburban dad. He looked like an accountant. Dad reached down and lifted his shirt. A long scar ran across his ribs, puckered and old. They tried to kill me once before. That's when I agreed to testify. The FBI offered me a deal. New identities, new life, protection. I took it because of your mother. She was pregnant with you. Mom made a choking sound, covered her mouth with her hand. I'd seen that scar before. Dad always said it was from a car accident when he was young. Everything was a lie. Every story, every memory, every birthday and Christmas and family dinner. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I pulled it out automatically. Text from my best friend, Justin. Dude, FBI at your house. What's going on? My stomach dropped. I showed Dad. He grabbed my phone and turned it off. No phones. They can track us. Did you bring anything else electronic? I shook my head. I'd left everything. My laptop, my tablet, my life. Dad pulled his own phone out and removed the battery. Made Mom do the same. We need to get rid of this car. They'll have the plates by now. He started driving again. Hands steadier now. Like he'd flipped some switch in his brain. Gone was the suburban accountant. This was someone else. Someone who knew how to run. Who'd done this before. Where are we going? I asked. Somewhere they won't look. That wasn't an answer. We drove for 20 minutes. Dad kept checking mirrors. Took random turns. Backtracked twice. Finally pulled into a mall parking garage. Parked on the 3rd level. Out. We got out. Dad grabbed nothing from the car. No clothes, no money, nothing. Just walked away like the car didn't exist. Inside the mall, Dad headed straight for an ATM, pulled out his wallet, started withdrawing cash. The machine allowed $400. He tried again with a different card. Another $400. Mom was keeping watch, her eyes constantly scanning the crowd. How much do we have? Dad counted quickly. About $3,000 in cash between us. That's it. I can't access our accounts. They'll be watching. $3,000. That was supposed to last how long? Dad grabbed my arm and pulled me toward a department store. Inside, he started grabbing clothes off racks. Jeans, t-shirts, sweatshirts. Not bothering with sizes. Just grabbing. Threw a bundle at me. Change. Bathroom. Now. In the bathroom, I put on jeans that were too big and a shirt that didn't match. Looked at myself in the mirror. The face looking back was familiar, but everything else was wrong. My name wasn't even Liam. It was Liam Sokolov. My dad wasn't Robert. He was Dmitri. My entire existence was constructed, fake. A lie told by the FBI. I wanted to punch the mirror. Instead, I went back out. Dad had changed too. Jeans and a dark jacket. Mom wore different clothes and had pulled her hair back. We looked like different people. Dad paid cash, and we left through a side exit. Started walking, no destination, just moving. We need to get out of Connecticut, Dad said. Out of the Northeast entirely. They'll expect us to run to the feds. We can't do that. Why not? I asked. They're supposed to protect us, right? That's the whole point? Dad's expression darkened. Someone told them where we were. Someone who knew our location, our identities. That information was supposed to be locked down. Only a handful of people had access. He let that sink in. Someone inside had betrayed us. Someone in the program. Someone who was supposed to keep us safe. So, we're on our own, Mom said quietly. Against the Bratva. Dad nodded. Against whoever they send. We walked for blocks, past stores and restaurants. Regular people doing regular things, shopping, eating, living normal lives. I'd been one of them this morning. Now I was running from the Russian mob. Dad found a used car lot, the kind that doesn't ask questions. Cash only. He negotiated with a greasy salesman for 10 minutes. They settled on an old Ford sedan for $2,200. Dad signed papers with a fake name. Paid cash. We drove off with temporary plates and half a tank of gas. Head south, Mom said. Somewhere warm, somewhere we can blend in. Dad nodded and got on I-95 south. I sat in the back watching Connecticut disappear behind us. My phone was still off in my pocket. Useless. I couldn't call Justin. Couldn't text him back. Couldn't explain why FBI was at my house. Couldn't say goodbye. Just gone. Like I'd never existed. What happens to our house? I asked. Our stuff? It's gone, Dad said flatly. All of it. They'll seize it as part of the investigation. Or the mob will torch it. Either way, it's not ours anymore. Everything I owned. My guitar, my gaming console, my sneaker collection, photos, yearbooks. Gone. Mom started crying again. Quiet tears. I had our wedding album. Real photos from before. From when we were us. Dad reached over and squeezed her hand. Didn't say anything. What could he say? We drove for hours. Nobody talked much. Dad stopped at a rest area and we used the bathroom. Bought sandwiches and water with cash. Got back on the road. By evening, we were in Maryland. Dad pulled into a cheap motel. The kind with hourly rates and broken neon signs. Paid cash for one room. We went inside. 2 beds and a TV that got 3 channels. It smelled like cigarette smoke and mildew. This was home now. I sat on the edge of the bed. Mom locked the door and checked the windows. Dad turned on the TV to local news. We waited to see if we made headlines. Nothing yet. They'll keep it quiet for now, Dad said. Don't want to tip off the Bratva that we escaped. They'll investigate. Try to find us through official channels first. How long do we have? Mom asked. Dad shrugged. Days. Maybe a week if we're lucky. I couldn't process any of this. 12 hours ago, I was worried about a history test. Now, I was hiding in a roach motel running from Russian gangsters. Tell me everything, I said. From the beginning. I deserve to know. Dad looked at Mom. She nodded. He sat down heavily and ran his hands through his hair. I grew up in Brighton Beach. Russian neighborhood in Brooklyn. My father worked for the Bratva. Low-level stuff. Collections. Enforcement. He died when I was 16. The organization took care of us. That's how it works. Your family. They give you opportunities. So I started working for them. Started small. Running errands. Delivering packages. Then bigger jobs. I was good with numbers. They put me to work on their books. Tracking money. Legitimate businesses mixed with criminal enterprises. Money laundering through restaurants and construction companies. I knew where every dollar went. He paused. Looked at me. I met your mother when I was 24. She was a waitress at a Russian restaurant. The Bratva owned it, but she didn't know that. She was innocent. Pure. Nothing like the world I was in. I fell hard. We got married within a year. Mom smiled sadly at the memory. Dad continued. She got pregnant with you. I was happy. Terrified, but happy. Then, Viktor Morozov ordered a hit on a federal prosecutor. Wanted to send a message. I did the finances. Tracked the money used to pay the hitman. $20,000 through 3 shell companies. The prosecutor survived. Got shot in front of his kids, but survived. The FBI came after Victor hard. Arrested half his crew. They picked me up during a raid on one of our fronts. I had a laptop with encrypted files. Financial records. They broke the encryption. Offered me a deal. Testify against Victor and his lieutenants. Give them the financial paper trail. In exchange, immunity and witness protection. He stood up. Started pacing. I said no at first. You don't betray the Bratva. Ever. They kill your whole family. Your parents. Your siblings. Everyone. But your mother... He looked at her. She was 7 months pregnant. And Victor found out I'd been picked up. Found out the FBI had my laptop. He assumed I'd talk. Didn't wait to confirm. Sent 2 guys to our apartment. Mom's hand went to her throat. Even now, 14 years later, the memory terrified her. They broke in while I was at work, she whispered. I was alone. They had knives. We're going to make it look like a robbery. I fought them, screaming. Neighbors called police. The men ran when they heard sirens, but one of them slashed me as he left. She lifted her shirt. A scar ran across her swollen belly. I felt sick. You were so close to dying, she said. Both of us were. Dad's voice was hard. The FBI agents showed me photos from the scene. Showed me what almost happened to your mother. To you. That's when I agreed. Testified against Victor Morozov and 8 of his top guys. Gave them everything. Bank accounts, shell companies, real estate holdings, drug routes, protection rackets. All of it. The trial lasted 3 months. Victor stared at me every single day. Never broke eye contact. Never blinked. Just stared. Promising. When the verdict came down guilty on all counts, he smiled at me. Actually smiled. Then he said in Russian, "We'll find you. We'll find your son. We'll make you watch before we kill you." I felt cold. This man had been promising to kill me before I was even born. The FBI put us in the program immediately after sentencing. New names, new location, new lives. They gave us a handler, Agent Wolf. She checked in every few months, made sure we were safe, gave us emergency protocols. For 14 years it worked. We were ghosts. Then this morning she called, said someone had leaked our location, said we had maybe an hour before they arrived. But it wasn't even an hour. It was 30 minutes. The TV flickered in the corner. A commercial for car insurance played, regular life continuing while ours fell apart. Agent Wolf is dead, Dad said quietly. She told me that before she hung up. Said she was hit. Said she was bleeding out in her car. Said someone on her team betrayed us. Betrayed her. She gave me 30 seconds to run before her phone was traced. Then she hung. Up. He sat down on the bed, put his face in his hands. Mom moved beside him, wrapped her arms around him. I sat frozen. Agent Wolf, the woman who'd checked in on us, who'd sent birthday cards, who'd promised we were safe, dead, bleeding out while she warned us. Who did Victor send? I asked. Dad looked up. The Volkov brothers, Alexei and Dmitri. They're his top enforcers, former Spetsnaz, Russian special forces. They've killed dozens of people, maybe hundreds. They don't stop, don't quit, don't give up, and they're here for us. He pulled something from his pocket, a folded piece of paper, opened it, showed me. 3 photos printed from a security camera. Me leaving school, Mom at the grocery store, Dad at his office, dated yesterday. Agent Wolf sent me these this morning. Before she died, the Volkov brothers have been watching us for days, learning our routines, waiting for the right moment. My skin crawled. Those men had been following me, watching me, planning. Why didn't they just kill us in our sleep? I asked. Dad shook his head. Victor wants me alive first, wants me to watch what they do to you and your mother. Then he wants me to die slowly. It's not just revenge. It's a message to anyone else who might think about testifying. Mom started crying again. I stood up, walked to the window, peeked through the blinds at the parking lot. Every car could have them inside. Every person could be one of them. We weren't safe. Not here. Not anywhere. So what's the plan? I asked. Keep running forever? Change names again? Live in roach motels and eat gas station sandwiches? Dad stood too. The plan is survival. First 72 hours are critical. That's when they'll be actively hunting, using all their resources, calling in favors. After that, if they haven't found us, they'll have to pull back. Regroup. That gives us time to figure out next steps. Next steps like what? He met my eyes. Like maybe we stop running. Maybe we fight back. Mom's head snapped up. Dmitri, no. We can't. They'll kill us. They're going to kill us anyway, he said. Question is whether we die running or die fighting. That night I couldn't sleep. Lay in the dark listening to my parents breathing in the other bed. Every sound outside made my heart race. Car doors, voices, footsteps. Were those men out there right now? Searching? Getting closer? My phone was still off in my pocket. I wanted to turn it on so badly. Check social media. See what people were saying. If Justin had posted about the FBI at my house. If anyone knew what happened. But Dad said it would give away our location. Cell towers would ping. They'd triangulate. Find us within hours. So the phone stayed off. And I stayed disconnected. Cut off from everyone I knew. Around 3 a.m. I got up and went to the bathroom. Looked at myself in the mirror again. Same face, but somehow different. I wasn't Liam Chen anymore. That person was dead. Left behind. Now I was Liam Sokolov. Son of a Russian mob. Accountant turned federal witness. Hunted by killers who wanted to torture my family. I splashed cold water on my face. Went back to bed. Didn't sleep. Just stared at the ceiling until gray light started creeping through the blinds. Dad was already awake. Sitting at the small table, looking at his phone. I sat up. I thought we weren't supposed to use phones. Burner, he said. Bought it at a gas station last night. Paid cash. Untraceable. Who are you calling? Old friends, he said. People who might help. Mob people? He nodded slowly. Not everyone in the Bratva is loyal to Victor. Some people owe me favors. Others hate him as much as I do. Worth reaching out. Mom stirred. Opened her eyes. Dmitri, that's dangerous. They could turn us in. They could, he agreed. But I'm running out of options. We have $2,800 left. This car won't last a week. We need resources, information, help. He dialed. Spoke in rapid Russian. I recognized maybe 1 word in 10. He hung up. Tried another number. Same thing. After the 5th call, someone answered. Dad's expression changed. Relief, mixed with wariness. He switched to English. Yuri, it's me, Dmitri. A pause. Listening. Yes, I know it's been 14 years. I know I disappeared. Listen, I need help. Victor found me. Sent the Volkov brothers. Another pause. Longer. Dad's jaw tightened. I understand. Yes. No, I'm not asking you to go against him. Just information, that's all. He hung up. Threw the phone on the table. Everyone's scared, won't talk, won't help. Victor's reach is too far. So we're alone, I said. Dad looked at me. Not completely. Yuri gave me a name before he hung up. Anatoly Petrov. He's in Baltimore. Runs a shipping company. Left the Bratva 5 years ago. Bad blood with Victor. Might be willing to help if we can get to him. We packed up. Left the motel. Drove to Baltimore. It took 3 hours. Dad kept checking mirrors. Taking random exits and getting back on. Making sure we weren't followed. Baltimore was gray and industrial. Warehouses and shipping containers. Dad followed directions from memory to a building near the harbor. A sign read, Petrov Shipping and Logistics. We parked. Dad told us to wait in the car. If I'm not out in 15 minutes, drive away. Use the money to get as far as you can. Don't look back. He got out before we could argue. Disappeared inside the building. Mom and I sat in silence, watching the clock on the dashboard. 5 minutes. 10 minutes. At 13 minutes, the door opened. Dad came out with another man. Tall, broad-shouldered, gray hair, scars on his face. They talked for a minute. The man looked at our car, looked at us, nodded. Dad waved us over. We got out. This is Anatoly, Dad said. He's going to help us. Anatoly studied me with cold blue eyes. You look like your father. Same nose, same stubborn expression. How old are you? 14. Old enough to understand what's happening. Old enough to choose. He turned to Dad. You want me to go against Viktor Morozov? That's what you're asking. I'm asking for information, Dad said. That's all. Where are the Volkov brothers staying? Who's coordinating the search? What resources are they using? Anatoly laughed, hard and bitter. You're asking me to sign my death warrant. Victor has eyes everywhere. He'll know if I help you. He already wants you dead, Dad said. You told me that yourself 5 years ago. The only reason you're alive is because you're useful. You move cargo for him, launder money through your shipping company. You think he'll let you retire someday? You're dead the moment you stop being useful. Anatoly's expression darkened. Careful, Dmitri. I'm not the young enforcer you knew. I've killed more men than you can count. Don't push me. Then kill me, Dad said. Stepped closer. Put a bullet in my head right now. Collect the bounty Victor put on me. It's probably substantial. Set for life money. Do it. They stared at each other. 10 seconds. 20. Anatoly looked away first. Your wife and son watch? If that's what it takes. Anatoly shook his head. You always work crazy. Fine, I'll help. But not for free. You owe me. Name it. Victor's financial records. The ones you gave the FBI. I want copies. Everything you know about his current operations. Every account. Every shell company. Every holding. Dad nodded. Done. But I don't have them. They're in FBI evidence lockup. Then you better figure out how to get them, Anatoly said. Because that's my price. I help you disappear. You give me leverage against Victor. Insurance so he can't touch me. Deal? Dad hesitated. That information could destroy his entire organization. Bring down hundreds of people. Exactly, Anatoly said. So he won't dare come after me if I have it. Mutually assured destruction. Now, do we have a deal or not? Dad looked at Mom. At me. Back at Anatoly. Deal. They shook hands. Anatoly motioned for us to follow him inside. The warehouse was huge. Shipping containers stacked everywhere. Workers loading and unloading. Anatoly led us to an office on the second floor. Closed the door. Pulled out a laptop. Started typing. The Volkov brothers flew into JFK 3 days ago, he said. They're operating out of a safe house in New Jersey. They have a team of 6 contractors helping with the search. Local muscle, ex-military, well-armed. He pulled up photos. 2 men, mid-40s, cold eyes, hard faces. Alexei is the older brother, smarter, more patient. Dmitri is younger, more violent, impulsive. They work well together. Alexei plans. Dmitri executes. More photos, grainy surveillance shots. They've been coordinating with someone inside the FBI, someone who had access to your file. Agent Wolf found out. That's why they killed her. Made it look like a car accident, but it wasn't. Dad's hands clenched into fists. Who? Who's the mole? Anatoly shook his head. Don't know yet. Someone high up. Someone with clearance. That's all I've got. He closed the laptop. You need to disappear completely. Out of the country. New identities that the FBI doesn't control. I can arrange that, but it'll take a week. Maybe 2. We don't have 2 weeks, Mom said. They're too close. Then you need to give them a reason to pull back, Anatoly said. Create a distraction. Something that draws their attention away from you. Like what? I asked. Anatoly smiled. Not friendly. Like leaking Victor's current operations to the FBI. If he's suddenly fighting federal raids and asset seizures, he won't have resources to hunt you. He'll be too busy protecting himself. Dad stood up, started pacing. That requires accessing FBI databases, getting information I don't have anymore. My handler is dead. I don't have contacts. You have me, Anatoly said. I know people who can hack systems, people who can get information, but it'll cost money, more than you have. How much? $50,000 up front. Dad laughed. Hollow sound. I have $2,800, that's it. Anatoly leaned back in his chair. Then we have a problem. Wait, I said. Everyone looked at me. What about the house? Our real house back in Connecticut. It's worth something, right? We could sell it. Use that money. Dad shook his head. It's in the government's name. Part of the witness protection program. We don't own it. But someone does, I said. Someone at the FBI. Someone who processes real estate for the program. What if we could access that account? Transfer the property to us somehow? Sell it fast? Anatoly raised an eyebrow. The kid's thinking. Not bad. Risky, but not bad. Dad looked at me different. Like he was seeing someone new. That's fraud. Identity theft. We'd be committing federal crimes. We're already running from the Russian mob, I said. What's the FBI going to do? Arrest us? Mom actually smiled. First time since this morning. He's right. We're already criminals in their eyes. Failed witnesses, liabilities. Why not use that? Dad thought for a long moment. Finally nodded. Anatoly, can your people access FBI property databases? Probably. What's the address? Dad gave it. Anatoly made a call. Spoke in Russian. Hung up. They'll have information in an hour. If the house is still listed under the program, they might be able to transfer the deed. Sell it to a cash buyer. Shell company. Money laundered through crypto. You'd see maybe 60% of the value. House is worth $400,000. You'd get $240,000. That was enough. More than enough. We waited. Anatoly had someone bring us food. Sandwiches and coffee. I ate, but couldn't taste anything. My brain was racing. We were about to steal a house from the FBI. Commit federal crimes to fund our escape from Russian gangsters. This was insane, but also kind of brilliant. If it worked. Big if. An hour later, Anatoly's phone rang. He answered. Listened. Smiled. Done. Deed transferred to a holding company. Buyer lined up. Cash sale closes tomorrow morning. Money wired offshore, then converted to crypto, then back to cash. Untraceable. You'll have $240,000 by tomorrow night. Dad exhaled. Relief, fear, disbelief. Thank you. Don't thank me yet, Anatoly said. The Volkov brothers will know something's up when that house sells. They're watching it. They'll investigate. Puts a clock on you. How long? 48 hours before they figure it out. Maybe less. 2 days. We had 2 days to get new identities, access Victor's current financial records, leak them to the FBI, and get out of the country. Impossible. Except we didn't have a choice. Dad stood up. What do we do now? Now you stay here, Anatoly said. I have a safe room, concrete walls, one entrance, armed guards, nobody gets in. You'll be secure while my people work. He led us through the warehouse to a shipping container. Inside was a door, steel, heavy. Behind it was a room, bed, bathroom, TV, like a prison cell, but cleaner. Not luxury, but you'll live, Anatoly said. Food delivered 3 times a day. Don't leave unless I come personally. Trust nobody else. Clear? We nodded. He left. The steel door closed with a heavy clang. Lock engaged. We were trapped. Safe, but trapped. The room had no windows, no connection to outside, just 4 walls and artificial light. Mom sat on the bed, looked around. We've gone from witness protection to actual prison. Temporary, Dad said, but his voice lacked conviction. I explored the space. Tiny bathroom with shower, small refrigerator with water bottles, TV with basic cable, concrete floor. This was home now. For how long? Hours turned into days. Food arrived through a slot in the door. We ate, watched TV, tried not to think about the Volkov brothers out there searching. Dad did push-ups, sit-ups, stayed active. Mom read magazines someone had left. I mostly thought about my life before, about Justin and school and the history test I'd never take, about who I was supposed to be versus who I was, about whether we'd survive this. On the second day, the door opened. Anatoly came in with a laptop. Money cleared, $240,000 in an offshore account. I'm keeping 50 per our agreement. The rest is yours. He pulled out a flash drive. Victor's current operations. Everything my people could find. Bank accounts in Cyprus, shell companies in Delaware, real estate holdings in Miami, drug routes through Montreal. It's all here. Dad took the flash drive, stared at it. This could bring down his entire empire. That's the idea, Anatoly said. Leak it to the FBI. Let them do the work. Victor will be too busy fighting off federal investigators to chase you. What about new identities? Mom asked. Anatoly pulled out 3 passports. Canadian. Michael Foster, Rebecca Foster, Dylan Foster. You're a family from Toronto, visiting the States. These will get you across the border. Once in Canada, you disappear for real. I have contacts in Vancouver. They'll set you up with permanent identities. Jobs, housing, new life. He handed them over. I looked at mine. Dylan Foster, 14 years old, Toronto address. The photo was me, but the name was foreign. Another fake identity. Another lie. When do we leave? Dad asked. Tonight. I have a truck crossing the border. Furniture shipment. You'll ride in the back. Customs won't check. My driver knows what to do. Gets you to Montreal by morning. From there, you're on your own. Why are you doing this? I asked. Everyone looked at me. You're risking everything to help us. Why? Anatoly crouched down to my level. Because Viktor Morozov took everything from me once. My brother. My family, my future. I've waited 20 years for a chance to hurt him. Your father just gave me that chance. He stood up. Get ready. Truck leaves at midnight. We had 3 hours. Dad spent them planning, looking at maps on Anatoly's laptop, memorizing routes, backup plans. Mom packed the few things we'd accumulated, clothes, documents, money. I sat thinking about crossing the border, becoming Dylan Foster, starting over in Canada, never seeing Justin again, never going home. But we didn't have a home anymore. That house in Connecticut was sold. That life was dead. At 11:30, Anatoly came back. Time to go. We followed him through the warehouse. Outside, a truck waited. Back doors open. Inside was furniture wrapped in plastic, couches, tables, chairs, and a hidden compartment built into the floor. Get in, Anatoly said. Don't make noise, don't move. Border crossing takes 30 minutes. After that, you can come out. We climbed in. The compartment was barely big enough for 3 people. Dark, cramped. Anatoly closed it. We heard the truck doors slam, engine starting. We started moving. I couldn't see anything, just darkness. My parents breathing beside me. The truck rumbled beneath us. I tried not to panic. Tried not to think about running out of air, about getting caught at the border. About the Volkov brothers finding us. Time lost meaning in the dark. Could have been minutes or hours. Finally, the truck stopped. Voices outside. English. Border Patrol. Papers, please. Just furniture. Delivery to Montreal. Pop the back. My heart stopped. Doors opened. Footsteps. Someone climbing into the truck. Checking the furniture. So close. Right above us. My dad's hand found mine. Squeezed. Telling me to stay calm. Stay quiet. The footsteps moved around. Something scraped against the hidden compartment. The agent was right there. Right on top of us. One wrong sound and we were caught. 10 seconds. 20. The footsteps moved away. All clear. Doors closed. Engine started. We were moving again. 20 minutes later, the truck stopped. The compartment opened. Anatoly's driver looked in. Older guy. Gray beard. Welcome to Canada. You can come out. We climbed out, stiff and sore. We were in a parking lot. Night, cold. The driver handed Dad an envelope. Address in Vancouver. Contact name. Phone number. Cash. Everything you need. He got back in the truck. Drove away. Left us standing in the cold. Dad opened the envelope. $5,000 in Canadian cash. A paper with an address. A name. Gregory Volkov. I froze. Dad. That name. He saw it too. Volkov. Same as the brothers hunting us. Coincidence, Mom said. Common Russian name. But Dad didn't look convinced. We found a motel. Used our new Canadian passports. Paid cash. Got a room. Inside, Dad spread everything out on the bed. The passports. The money. The flash drive with Victor's information. The paper with the Vancouver contact. Something's wrong, he said. This is too easy. Anatoly helps us. Gives us money. New identities. Gets us across the border. Why? You're giving him Victor's financial records, Mom said. That's why. But he's keeping copies. He could use those himself. Doesn't need us. So why help us escape? I picked up the paper. Stared at the name. Gregory Volkov. What if it's a trap? Dad's expression darkened. What if Anatoly's working with Victor? No, Mom said. He hates Victor. He told us. He told us a story, Dad said. About his brother. About revenge. But we only have his word. We don't know if it's true. He pulled out the burner phone. Dialed the number. Someone answered. Dad spoke in Russian. Quick, angry words. Hung up. That was Yuri, the guy who gave us Anatoly's name. I asked him about Anatoly's brother. About the story. Yuri said Anatoly never had a brother. He's an only child. The room went cold. So he lied, I said. About everything. Which means he's working with Victor, Dad said. Which means these identities are compromised. This address in Vancouver is a trap. We walk into that apartment and the Volkov brothers will be waiting. Mom sat down hard on the bed. Then we're dead. We used all our money. We're in Canada with fake passports. We have nowhere to go. Dad was thinking. Pacing. We still have the flash drive. Still have Victor's information. That's real. Anatoly wouldn't fake that. It's his insurance. So we use it, I said. Leak it ourselves. Tonight. Find an internet cafe. Send it to the FBI, to newspapers, to everyone. Burn down Victor's empire before they find us. Dad looked at me. If we do that, there's no going back. Victor will know it was us. He'll never stop hunting us. Ever. He's already hunting us, I said. At least this way we hurt him back. Dad made a decision. Okay, we do it. But we do it smart. We left the motel. Found a 24-hour internet cafe. Dad paid cash for an hour. Sat down at a computer in the back corner. Plugged in the flash drive. Files opened. Hundreds of documents. Bank statements. Wire transfers. Shell company registrations. Property deeds. Everything. Dad started uploading. Sent files to the FBI New York field office. To the Justice Department. To the New York Times. To the Washington Post. To every major news outlet he could find. To international police agencies. Everyone. The files were too big. Taking too long to upload. We'd been there 30 minutes. 40. The cafe employee kept looking at us. Suspicious. 50 minutes. Finally done. Dad deleted browsing history. Removed the flash drive. We left. Got 2 blocks before we saw them. The black SUV. Parked across the street. Waiting. Run, Dad said. We ran. Down an alley. Through a parking lot. The SUV followed. Headlights cutting through the dark. We turned a corner. Another alley. Dead end. Brick wall. Nowhere to go. The SUV stopped. Blocked the entrance. Doors opened. 2 men got out. The Volkov brothers. Alexei. Dmitri. Just like the photos. They walked toward us slowly. No hurry. They had us trapped. Alexei spoke first. English with thick accent. Dmitri Sokolov. You are difficult to find, but Anatoly is convincing. He says come to Montreal. Use the cafe. You will come. And you do. Very predictable. Dad pushed me and Mom behind him. Let them go. Your problem is with me, not them. Dmitri laughed. No. Victor says whole family. You watch. Then you die. Very specific. He pulled out a knife. Long. Curved. Professional. You killed Agent Wolf, Dad said. Made it look like accident. Yes, Alexei said. An FBI mole. Loose end. Too risky. Both dead now. Very clean. They'd killed their own inside man. No witnesses. No trail. You upload files, Alexei said. Victor's information. We know. Anatoly tells us. Too late to stop. But you die anyway. Message to others. They were 10 feet away. 5. I looked around for a weapon. Anything. A broken bottle. A pipe. Nothing. We were going to die in this alley. Then lights flooded the alley. Bright. Blinding. Everyone froze. Police! Hands up now! Montreal police. 4 officers. Guns drawn. The Volkov brothers looked at each other. Calculating. Could they fight? Could they run? Alexei made a choice. Raised his hands. Dmitri did the same. The police moved in. Handcuffed them. One officer approached us. You are the Sokolov family? From FBI file? Dad nodded. We received information. Anonymous tip. Says Russian criminals hunting American witnesses. Says check this cafe. We find you. Anonymous tip. Someone had helped us. But who? The officer continued. FBI is notified. They send agents. You go with them. Protective custody again. Dad shook his head. No. Someone inside betrayed us. We can't trust them. Then you trust no one, the officer said. But these men go to jail. Attempted murder. Illegal weapons. They do not walk away. The Volkov brothers were loaded into police cars. As Dmitri passed us, he spit at our feet, said something in Russian. Dad translated later. This is not over. But it was. For them, at least. They'd spend years in Canadian prison. Victor's top enforcers. Gone. The police took us to a station, separated us, asked questions, took statements, hours of interrogation. They knew about Victor, about the testimony 14 years ago, about the Bratva, about Agent Wolf's death. They knew everything. Who gave you that information? Dad asked. The detective smiled. Anonymous source. Very detailed, very accurate. Someone who knows your situation, wants you safe. Anatoly. It had to be. He'd betrayed Victor, sent us into a trap but also called the police, made sure we were caught but protected. Insurance. If Victor killed us, Anatoly had no leverage. We were worth more alive, as witnesses against the Volkov brothers, as proof of Victor's reach. The FBI arrived the next morning. 2 agents. Not from our old office. Different department. They sat across from us in an interview room. We received extensive files last night, the lead agent said. Victor Morozov's current operations, financial records, everything. The information is gold. We're executing warrants as we speak, seizing assets, freezing accounts, arresting associates. It's the biggest takedown since your original testimony. Dad leaned forward. What about us? What about our safety? New identities, the agent said. Different program. Completely compartmentalized. Only 3 people will know your location. All senior level. All vetted. No more leaks. We were told that before, Mom said. Look how that turned out. We caught the mole, the agent said. Assistant Director Pearson. He was taking money from Victor, passing information. He's in custody, facing life in prison. Assistant Director, that high up. The corruption ran deep. Victor Morozov is finished, the agent continued. His organization is collapsing. We've seized $400 million in assets. Arrested 63 people. Shut down operations in 8 states. He's losing everything. But he's still alive, Dad said. Still free. For now, we're building a RICO case. Should have it ready in 6 months. He'll go down. For good this time. We had a choice. Enter the program again. Trust the FBI. Or disappear on our own. Use our money. Our wits. Stay hidden forever. Dad looked at me. At Mom. What do you think? Mom spoke first. I'm tired of running. Tired of fake names and fake lives. I want this to be over. I thought about it. About Justin and school and normalcy. About never having a home. Always looking over our shoulder. If Victor's really done, if they can prove he's powerless, then maybe we take the chance. Dad nodded slowly. Okay, we go back in. But different terms. I want updates, regular contact, full transparency, and if anything feels wrong, anything at all, we walk. Agreed? The agent nodded. Agreed. They set us up in Oregon. Small town, coast. Dad got a job at a marina. Mom taught at a local elementary school. I enrolled in high school as Dylan Foster. The name stuck from the Canadian passports. It felt right. Not Liam Chen. Not Liam Sokolov. Dylan Foster. New person. Clean slate. The first few months were hard. I jumped at shadows. Checked exits constantly. Couldn't trust anyone. Made no friends. But slowly it got easier. School became routine. I joined the chess club. Made a friend named Alex. Told him nothing real about myself, but enjoyed his company anyway. Dad kept in contact with the FBI. Monthly updates. Victor's trial was scheduled. The case was solid. Dozens of witnesses, financial records, intercepted communications. He was going down. 6 months after we arrived in Oregon, the trial started. Dad didn't testify this time. Didn't need to. They had enough evidence without him. The trial lasted 2 months. The verdict came back guilty on all counts. Life in prison without parole. Victor Morozov was done. His empire was destroyed. His people scattered. His money gone. And he'd never get out. Never hurt anyone again. We watched the news that night. Saw Victor being led away in handcuffs. Saw reporters asking about the witnesses he'd hunted. About the Volkov brothers in Canadian prison. About the corruption inside the FBI. It was over. Really over. Dad opened a bottle of wine. Poured 3 glasses. Illegal for me, but he didn't care. We toasted. To survival, to freedom, to starting over. The wine was bitter, but I drank it anyway. Mom cried. Relief, joy, exhaustion. 14 years of fear finally ending. That night I slept without nightmares for the first time since the morning we ran. No gunshots, no shadowy figures, no locked compartments. Just sleep, deep and dreamless. The next morning felt different, lighter. I went to school and actually enjoyed it. Listened to lectures, took notes, talked to Alex about the upcoming chess tournament. Normal teenager things. After school, I walked home along the beach. Watched waves crash against rocks, smelled salt air, felt wind on my face. This was home now, not fake, not temporary, real. I still thought about Justin sometimes, about my old life, but it felt distant, like remembering a movie I'd once watched. Not painful, just past. Dad was waiting when I got home, sitting on the porch, looking at the ocean. I sat next to him. You okay? He asked. Yeah, I said. I think I actually am. We sat in silence for a while. Then he said, I'm sorry, for all of it, for the life you lost, for the fear, for everything. It's okay. It's not, but thank you for saying it. Would you do it differently? I asked. If you could go back, would you testify? He He thought about it. Long time. Finally answered. Yes, because otherwise you and your mother would be dead, and that's not acceptable. I nodded. Made sense. Victor got a message this morning, Dad said. Through his lawyer. Says he knows where we are. Says it's not over. Says he'll get out someday and find us. My stomach dropped. But he got life without parole. Appeals, Dad said. Technicalities. Corrupt judges. He'll try everything. And even if he never gets out, he has people on the outside. People who will carry out his wishes. The fear came rushing back. So we're not safe. Not really. We're safer than we were, Dad said. Victor's power is broken. His money gone. His people scattered. But completely safe? No. That's not how this works. He put his hand on my shoulder. But we're alive. Together. That's what matters. We survived. And we'll keep surviving. Whatever comes. I looked at the ocean. At the endless waves. At the horizon stretching forever. We'd keep running. Keep hiding. Keep looking over our shoulders. But we'd also keep living. Keep hoping. Keep moving forward. Viktor Morozov had taken 14 years from us. He wouldn't take the rest. Thanks for watching till the end. Make sure to subscribe and like to not miss the next story.